Hey, what's up, you HCMC Army, healthier choices, management holders, and moneymakers? Welcome back to the channel. I got a ton of questions around HCMC. Many of you asked me what is going on with HCMC, Healthier Choices Management Corp. Is HCMC still a good investment? What you should be doing? Can it go 10x? And I'll tell you why it can go 10x or why it cannot go 10x. What are the upcoming catalysts for HCMC? HCMC is known for their Phillip Morris lawsuit for a long period of time. And I wanted to share more updates on what are the new catalysts that you can think about when it comes to HCMC if you are invested in HCMC. Can it go 2x, 3x, 5x? And potentially 10x from this price point. So in other words, can it go to 0.0001 from this price point? Can it go to 0.0010? Yes or no? So let's talk about all the juicy information. Let's talk about all the interesting catalysts that are coming up. What you should be thinking when you think about HCMC, whether you're trying to buy new position into HCMC or you're holding for a long time. If you're a long time holder in HCMC, HCMC is people's stock. It's a retailer stock. Take a look right here on stock tweets. We are seeing strong 84,000 watchers, and this is a very strong community. There is a society and community behind HCMC, and they believe in pretty strongly. We have seen HCMC had a short squeeze or a huge short volume when we had this AMC and GME saga. This was one of the most popular stock into the market, into the OTC market for a long period of time in 2021, and it is still very popular. So let's talk about all that juicy information. All in return, I ask you is hit that like button. We need 500 likes on this HCMC video so we can share more information because the catalyst is up around the corner. The revenue is going to skyrocket based on what the company has been hinting us, and here I am sharing two main catalysts with you. One is the lawsuit update, and the second one is what HCMC is doing and how they're ramping up the revenue and how it can benefit the stockholders. So hit that like button, 250 or 500 likes on this videos. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on some of the very juicy and important information. And also, if today is your lucky day, hit that join button on YouTube. It doesn't really cost you a lot of money. Yes, likes and subscribes are for free. Join will cost you $2, not a ton of money once again. And if you're feeling extra happy, either way, if you hit either the join button or the thanks button, and I'll be really grateful to you. Note that I am not a financial advisor. I'm just like you, do a ton of research, like to share back with you, the community, hoping you can take the advantage of the research that I do and make informed financial decision, and you make this video part of your due diligence as well. Do your own due diligence and research before you buy or sell anything. This is not an advice. Now, HCMC between 1 and 2 level for a long period of time shows 50% down, and next day will show 50% up. So what is going on? Take a look between 1 and 2 for last 5 days. Between 1 and 2, the chart does not show up, but for 1 month as well. The market cap is 34 million, pretty close to $34 million. And the company, many people have questions what's going to happen. Now, if you know, HCMC, it's a US-based publicly traded company which is specialized in consumers with healthier alternatives. What they have done to themselves is divided them into 4 different buckets or 4 different business groups, the way they operate. The company is laser focused on reducing their EBITDA. If you don't know what EBITDA is, basically it's an operational overheads and the interest that the company is paying. HCMC, intellectual property holding, and they have tons of patents. Let me show you how many patents that they have. Specifically, they have listed down their intellectual property or IPs and the other patents that they have already. And they have this products, Q Cup brand, vape material containers. Another thing that they have is Q Unit, Quick T, and Quick G, so on and so forth. And you can see a ton of patents that they have. One of their patent was infringed according to Hcmc by Philip Morris, and that's when we saw a lot of speculation, not only within the company but also for Philip Morris, because it could potentially mean could be $1 billion for Hcmc. However, the chances are thin that that is going to happen based on what we have seen. We have seen PTAB application, we have seen it got rejected, they went to the appellate court, and the court proceedings are still in pending. But we might not be hoping too much in terms of the lawsuit given the series of events that we have seen. But you also want to note that the company has e-liquid based electronic cigarette products, rechargeable, non-refillable, refillable electronic cigarettes product, all cigarettes, all customizers, and all electronic cigarette batteries and battery assemblies, and they have a ton of patent according to this side page that you see. You cannot really put a number onto patent until and unless there is some utilization into the real-time product. But however, if you remember what the company is up to, company is trying to get into exclusive business deals and contract where they have licensing deals. So take a look. It's announced that exclusive provider contract with Elevated Living. They also did the Wellness Choice Center with Cashback Spa and Salon in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Before that, they expanded themselves in the New York area as well. They did the Healthier Choices Wellness Center licensing agreement with one of the company as well, and the company is super focused once again going into reducing their operational overheads. And what that means is when the revenue spikes up, their cost does not spike up that much. They also announced the acquisition of EIR Hydration, which is an IV therapy center, so on and so forth. Now, if you think all in all, so that's their patent. Second one is Healthier Choices Market, which is one of the revenue generator for them, 18,000 square feet full service grocery store in United States, in Florida, along with 3 Paradise Health and Nutrition locations in Florida as well. You want to also remember that the company has online presence in the vitamin stores, and the last one is Healthier Choices Wellness Center. So they have divided themselves into 4 different categories, 4 different buckets that you want to note. Now, the most important thing that you want to note, and in my opinion, this is a big catalyst, is their first quarter earning and financial report. This report says their sales of $5 million for the first year, for the first time in the first quarter. So in the history of Hcmc, this is the first time they're going above $5 million in revenue, which is 46% year-over-year growth. Now, if I can show you on this page, you should be able to see that they did $5.05 million in revenue. Their operational expense was $3.33 million, and their net income definitely was negative because they're still working on some of the last kings, and they had a $500,000 expense, one-time expense that they put in. If you take a look, Q4, again, it was one of the Q4 is usually the busiest quarter for many companies, including Hcmc. So they overcome that revenue. So the Q4 revenue was 3.2 million. Q1 revenue was 5.05 million, so they exceeded their own expectations. So if you take a look at the Q1 revenue right here, 3.47 million. And Q4 revenue in 2021 was lower due to some of the pandemic impact, some of the inflation, some of the supply chain management issues that you have been seeing in the United States. But however, the revenue last quarter in Q1 was 3.47 million, and they jumped up more than $1.5 million in revenue. Now, if you take a look Q1, their net income was negative 700,000. Compared to that, right now they're 1.32 million negative net cash income because of, as I just mentioned, $500,000 one-time cost that they had to put in. But 3.33 million operational expense versus 2 million right here, which puts the company into a very strong position. If they jump up their more revenue, which means more profitability, which means more net income for the company to put into their pocket, and it is also helping their shareholders. Now, if you take a look at once again their balance sheet, which is right here, which is unaudited balance sheet March 31st, 2022, 5.05 million compared to 3.4 million, which put their gross profit around almost 2 million, but precisely 1.9 million compared to 1.49 million that they had in 21. at the same time. Now, if you take a look once again, which is I like to see, that company has $20.5 million in cash and cash equivalents. Now, where did that money come from? Because last year they had 26 million, 26.4 million. They spent about 6.4 million, or 6 million rather, more or less, in last 1 quarter, which means they use that money for the acquisition, for the growth of the company. They might have spent some money for the lawyers in Philip Morris lawsuit, so on and so forth. Their current asset 2.9 million, which is the other current assets, they put them into the bucket of $23.5 million in current assets that they have, compared to 28.7 million in Q4 2021, and their total is 35.4 million, and their balance sheet is pretty equivalent to what we have seen in Q4 2021. Now, this is, in my opinion, a pretty big catalyst. Now, why is this? Now, the reason is, if they bump up their revenue even more, let's say from 5 million to 7 million, they will be generating more and more in terms of the gross profit, because they have many licensing deals. They're focusing on reducing their EBITDA and operational overheads, and they're laser focused, making sure that they don't overspend where they don't really need to spend. So this, in my opinion, is a pretty big catalyst, and we just closed Q2 in June, and now we're officially in July 3rd. So we'll have to wait for next couple of weeks or 3 before we can figure out what Hcmc has done until they release their numbers. But I'm super excited to learn. If you think about what they did in Q2 last year, they did 3.39 million, which was in line with Q1. Right now, they are doing 5.05 million. I wouldn't be surprised they come up with a higher number than this, but the time will say. I do not really have a crystal ball. But why we can go up and above 10x, or at least 2 to 3x or 4x or 5x, because one of the reason is the company is going to create more profitability. Remember, I'm not even talking about the company's buyback. I'm not talking about reverse stock split. I'm not talking about anything along those lines, or I'm not even talking about the lawsuit. Regardless, just the reason, because the company can spike up the revenue and profitability, we may see 2, 3, 5, 10x spike in terms of the price point for this particular stock. And let's talk about how the company raised the funds back in the days, what the company did in June. So mid-June 2021, the company offered their shares rights offering, the subscription period for its announced rights offering, common stock for 0.0010 per share, which represented 25% discount on a 5-day VWAP, ending the expiration date on June 10th, 2021. And the company approximately rights exercised total approximately 27 billion shares of common stock, as you see right here, which preliminary estimated indicated that the company will be raising gross proceeds of $27 million from this offering, which is massive, and that's why they have this cash. If you think more, you should really pay attention as to what the company is doing, what the stock is doing. Now, the stock is for the most part, it is between 1 and 2 level. We see the lower volume as well. Their average volume 300 million. We are seeing between 150 to 155 million, more or less. Now, the stocks were hit most in this downturn, which was the small cap stock. All in all, the market is still into the deep. We have seen NASDAQ, I think they lost almost 30%. Take a look right here for the last 6 months. NASDAQ lost almost 29.72%, so 30% they lost into the index. Small cap stocks were hit so hard than the large cap stocks. So based on my analysis, if the market goes up, if this as an example, if NASDAQ goes back to 16,000, the small cap stock will run up faster than the large cap stock for the most part, because they were hammered so hard, especially the OTC and the penny stocks. If there is good news, it could be buy the rumor and sell the news type of a situation as well, but for the most part it will be in the positive direction because they were hammered so hard. So if the company is good, they build strong momentum in terms of the financials and numbers, there is a chance that they're going to hit harder and harder into the positive direction when the things become more suitable for them. If you take a look, their volume is pretty much between 145 and 200 million. Take a look. For last few days, we see 219, 213, 158, and pretty much we were trading between 150 and 200 million in revenue, and between 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So it's a bar chart, as you see, just a spike, and the way you see the spikes onto the chart, practically just the bar chart between 1 and 2. Many people are speculating the buyback, and if you take a look right here on their stock tweet, there's pretty good discussion going on. Some people are talking about TIVC, only 9.6 million, blah blah blah, some other stocks and whatnot. But Hcmc, based on this user 6G, my credit to him, my guess is earning and sales will grow this year. I 100% agree that earning and sales will grow. Lawsuit stuff will take time. I'm not really banking on the lawsuit. The chances for positive results, I'm not sure that is going to be the case, but we wish for a buyback. Yes, that could be a very positive news for the stockholder and company's investor, but maybe they're confident that the company will grow, and having cash on hand in this market is pretty good, so they can buy something for cheap, and which is what we should be also thinking about. I hope you like this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also make sure that you do your due diligence. This is risk versus reward. It can go 2, 3, 4, 5, 7x into the positive direction just in no time. On the flip side, you can lose 25, 30, 40, 50% of your initial investment. So do not invest. I only invest not more than 10% in my own portfolio into penny stocks, OTC stocks, so on and so forth, just because they're risk versus reward. So you might want to do the same as well. I'll leave it up to you. I do not have crystal ball, but you know that you can do more research and just have some patience and get some great results. I hope you like this. Hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.